What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Welcome into this quick hits edition of the Pack a Day podcast. I'm your host, Andy Herman. You can follow me on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL. You can follow the podcast at Pack a Day Podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, give those 5-star reviews. Those things are always super helpful to the channel, and I always appreciate it a ton. Not a ton to go over on this quick hits edition. We'll get through our three normal things. We will start today with a updated injury report. Josh Myers is back off of his personal absence, so good to see him back at practice. We did have 4 new absences on the day. One of them is mostly good news in the fact that Elgton Jenkins was out, but it was just another rest day for him, so no concerns there. 3 new injuries, though. Deslin Alexander is out with a lower leg injury. Zane Anderson is out with a knee injury, and Keyshawn Banks is out with a groin injury. So this is about the time in camp where you start to see a few more of these nagging injuries start to pile up, the wear and tear of back-to-back days of practice. Hopefully the off day on Monday will serve everyone very, very well. And then everyone will be, not everyone, I'm sure, but more players will be able to get back to it on Tuesday. Meanwhile, Jordan Morgan did not finish practice. The final practice sessions were the 2-minute drills. It was the 1s, the 2s, and the 3s, and Jordan Morgan was not involved in any of them. He had a helmet to the side, but Royce Newman was in with the 1s and Morgan was out. And we thought maybe Morgan would go in with maybe like offensive tackle to get him some reps there with like the 2s or something, but he just didn't go in with the 3s. So it seemed like maybe something happened, but we don't have any other update at this point in time. Hopefully he's fine, and we'll have to wait until Tuesday to see if he's back out there. But it didn't seem like it would be surprising if after basically starting at guard the entire week, if they're just like, nope, you're not going to play in any of the 2-minute drills. You would think that something probably happened. Again, he still had his helmet on. Usually when there's some sort of injury, the guy's talking to the trainer, their helmet's off and things like that. And he was still to the side with his helmet on. So maybe it was a discipline thing. Who knows at this point, but he did not get in the 2-minute drills, and we'll have to kind of take a look at what happened there if we get any injury update on Tuesday. So that brings your total players not participating on Sunday to 8. Katana Ladapo still on the non-football injury list. Marshawn Lloyd still out with the hip injury. Tucker Kraft on the PUP list still with a pec injury. Robert Rochelle still out with a calf injury, and then Deslin Alexander, Zane Anderson, Keyshawn Banks with the injuries we just discussed, and Elgton Jenkins with a veteran rest day. All right, let's get to our 3 quick takeaways for today. Number 1, and forgive me on this for maybe starting a little bit on the negative side. There's a positive spin in here too as well. But number 1 is Sean Clifford, who has been awful. And there's no other way to put it. And I like Sean Clifford. I thought he did a really nice job last year. Number 2 QB, got in the one game, I think, threw 1 pass for 30-some yards. In preseason, I thought he looked the part. I thought overall 2023 for Clifford was a success. Showed some signs of progress. Seemed like he was at least trending towards being able to be the number 2 QB. From OTAs and mini camps through now the first week of training camp, he has been awful. Remember the day in minicamp, I think he threw 4 picks on the day, but he threw 3 to Zane Anderson. That's not great. He's had multiple interception days over and over and over again. He had 2 more interceptions today. One is a play he probably would have been sacked on first, but threw the ball anyway, and Carrington Valentine makes the leaping interception on it. And then you get to the 2-minute drill, and he drops back to pass, looks over the middle. There's nothing there. Throws it anyway, and the very first play of 2-minute is picked off by Evan Williams. And sometimes in those situations, like the coaches will be like, all right, we're going to start it over. They're like, nope, get out. It was done. They ended the number 2's drill. Defense just won it right away with the Evan Williams pick. But that's how it's been for Sean Clifford. And it would be one thing if we were seeing these turnover-worthy plays because Clifford is just playing with a level of aggressiveness that you don't mind seeing in practices, and it was paying off in other plays. I can't think of a throw from Clifford through the first week of practice that I'm like, oh yeah, there we go. Not one. There hasn't been any positives. There hasn't been any noteworthy plays. He has not been able to get the first team offense to function. Day 1 of practice, if you remember, he was one of my players of the day because they did red zone drills. By the way, I think other people on the beat actually had it as a not great day for Clifford. I was fine with Clifford's first day. And even like I said, he was a positive for me because that was a tough situation. First day of camp, going in, having to be the starter. He threw 4 touchdown passes in red zone. Remember, it's red zone, so you're throwing, that's all you're doing is throwing, in the red zone, and you have more opportunities for touchdowns. But to complete 4 of them. Again, I don't think there were any that were like crazy throws or anything like that, but there was one anticipation throw that was probably his best throw of all of camp so far. That was like a solid day from him. And then ever since then, it has just been, basically abysmal. And not seeing the field well at all, not really being able to navigate the pocket the way that you would want to see from him, and not really being able to generate anything down the field, while also turning the ball over a ton, multiple interceptions almost every single practice. I hope he bounces back. This is not a, crap on Sean Clifford and, screw that guy, get rid of him. He just needs to bounce back in a pretty significant way. But the overarching bigger thought here is it's time right now to put Michael Pratt in that spot. Michael Pratt should be the 2 on Tuesday. Sean Clifford should be the 3, because I have seen more from Michael Pratt as a rookie. And it's not been a ton, by the way, from Pratt. It's not like, oh my goodness, he's out there just tearing it up. He had a really nice 2-minute drill today to lead the number 3 offense all the way down the field into game-winning field goal range, which both Joseph and Anders Carlson made the quote-unquote game-winning field goal. Really nice drive overall. Showed touch, showed anticipation, had a couple of really nice anticipation throws on out routes through the course of the day, and just navigated everything extremely well. Heck, the one drive he had in the 2-minute drill today was better than anything Clifford has done in all of camp or mini camp or OTAs. So for me, it's time. Let's see what you have in Michael Pratt as that number 2. Let's see if he can be somebody that can maybe put a little bit of a better performance on for the number 2 offense. And that's not to say give up on Sean Clifford or, whatever. Let's just maybe scale things back a little bit for him. Let him maybe, just kind of get back on the right foot. Maybe going against the 3s will help him out a little bit to try to get into a rhythm. But right now, if I were Green Bay, I would switch those 2. And it has been a nightmare start of camp for Sean Clifford. A lot of time left. Like I said, hoping he bounces back. Liked what he did in 2023. Liked what he did overall at that first day of camp. Outside of that, just a lot of interceptions, no big plays. It's been a defensive, just interception and turnover fest basically every single time that he has been in the game. Now let's talk more of a positive, although again, Michael Pratt playing well and maybe elevating himself to that number 2 job could be a positive on that first one. Number 2, really great day today from Kalen King. Ended up playing against the ones on offense in the slot. Play a throw that was behind Christian Watson. Looked like Watson and Love weren't on the same page, but Kalen King sees it the whole way. He's playing in zone, eyes on the QB, picks it off, takes it to the house. Huge pick 6. Had another big pass breakup on the day. The other thing that I've really liked about Kalen King, playing on the outside and playing in the slot. So he's showing off some versatility there. And he's been really good in run defense as well, coming up and not being afraid to make plays. Now, there's not live tackling, so we'll have to kind of see how that transitions in preseason, specifically when tackling is allowed. But for right now, he's doing his job and getting to the places that he's supposed to be to help support in run defense. That's what you can ask. That's all you can ask right now of a rookie. But to have the pick 6, another huge pass breakup, and as Wes Hodkiewicz, tweeted out, what did he say? Something to the effect of, like, it's like hellfire when he breaks on the ball. He has a very quick trigger and breaks on it very quickly. And the thing I love about a draft pick like Kalen King, when you get into the 7th round in your drafting, find somebody who at some point was great. Maybe they're coming off an atrocious season or something like that, but did they show greatness at some point? Did they do something awesome at some point? And Kalen King, the year before he came out, the year before his final season at Penn State, was awesome. He was considered almost a first-round pick, or at least in the conversation. That was probably over-aggressive, and there's a lot of volatility at corner. But, he was really good that previous season. So, yeah, he came off a really tough year, did not play the way anyone expected him to play. There's a lot of reasons that he became a 7th-round pick. I understood it, but that's the perfect type of flyer to take when he has shown the ability to play at a pretty high level in college, and he just had a bad season. It's not super dissimilar, by the way, to what happened to Dontavian Wicks, who had a really great season the year before, and then in his final season, there was a lot of extenuating circumstances there. But he didn't perform well. Heck, Jordan Love, same thing. Second to last season was phenomenal. His last season did not meet expectations. And Green Bay sort of made a bit of a living of finding these guys who maybe didn't have great final seasons, but were really good at some point, and they're banking on the fact that they can get the player back to that point, and it has paid off for them, and maybe Kalen King can be the latest to do so. Last but not least today, not like an unbelievable performance, but just a noteworthy one that I kind of want to bring up. That's Romeo Doubs. The first big play, Jordan Love got blitzed on the play, saw Romeo one-on-one with Carrington Valentine, threw it up, lollipopped it up. Not a great play by Carrington Valentine. Also, there was a flag. It may have been OPI on Doubs. I watched the play. I didn't see anything that was egregious enough to, in my opinion, get an OPI on Doubs. But either way, Doubs goes up to get it, comes down with it, high points the ball, makes a big almost 40-yard completion on the play that kind of was out of nothing. Love just gave him a chance and he went out and paid it off. But also his route running's been really good. His comeback routes have been fantastic. His slants have been fantastic. He's been showing off strong hands. In one-on-ones, he got the best of Jair Alexander on a play. Just another super consistent training camp so far from Romeo Doubs. Don't know that it's ever going to be the sexiest thing in the world, meaning, we're not talking about a guy that runs a 4.2 40. We're not talking about a guy that is going to juke you out of your, jock strap in the open field. It's just consistent. It's good. You need players like that. And you can tell the younger players look up to Romeo too. I saw, a couple young players talking to Romeo on the sidelines and asking for advice and things like that. He's the type of guy that you want on your team no matter what. And whether he ends up as the number 1 wide receiver, the number 4 or 5 wide receiver, or anything in between, by the way, it's not going to be 5. It's probably not going to be 4. But wherever he ends up on that spectrum and however many targets he gets, he is going to be a plus for this team. He has been a plus for this team. And I'm excited about Romeo Doubs in year 3. So those are my 3 takeaways. Time to make the switch to Michael Pratt, in my opinion. Really tough start for Sean Clifford. Really nice day for Kalen King. And Romeo Doubs is Mr. Consistency. We'll have to keep an eye on that potential Jordan Morgan injury, or hopefully nothing or much ado about nothing. And he's just back out there on Tuesday. We will have to wait and see. That's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for following along, joining the show, making the Pack-A-Day podcast part of your daily routine. Means the world. I'll see you soon. But until next time, and as always, go Pack Go.